Okay, so let's talk about CYBL stock. I have not sold, and I think it's important that we talk about CYBL stock. It's going to close this gap. I believe 003s would be the gap close being completed. Let it close the gap, and I'm just going to use one example real quick before we even continue, because some people are just, I don't know what people are thinking. Okay, it didn't hold the bottom here, it broke down, that's fine. I'm not concerned about it. So B-hat, why am I pointing at B-hat here? So I alerted this one here, and it just kept going down. And then eventually, because if you have conviction and you know what's coming, you just keep adding more and more as it goes down. And then eventually, it came back up for you and then some on top of that. So people made money. In fact, it's up 20% in after hours. But either way, what I'm trying to show you here is, if you know what's coming, why would you even care about the drop? Now, the problem with this is you need a lot of conviction. Like, you really need to believe. People who didn't believe, they were scared here when it dropped again, scared here, they were scared here. They just kept getting scared because it just kept going lower and lower. But inevitably, if you believe and you have the conviction, you just buy more, knowing full well that it's going to come back up for you. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so we know they have 7 significant contracts under negotiation. Let's look at that. Our contract pipeline remains robust with 7 significant deals under negotiation or in development across the GIS, UAS, and DMC divisions. And here's the problem. We know people are impatient. They're impatient. They don't want to wait they want those 7 negotiations. They want those 7 contracts right now. Tomorrow. They want it to move right now. They want the big explosion. They want to get rich quick. They don't have the patience that we have. So unfortunately, yes, it did drop. I was trying to time the bottom. It didn't work out. That's cool. Now it's a catalyst play. It doesn't matter. There's no CE. Like, we're already past the worst of it. It's funny how quickly people forget. We're past the worst part, which was the CE. This, let it come down. It doesn't matter. If you believe they're going to close a bunch of contracts this year, and they get contracts, by the way, let's just, because some people need a reminder here. Let's go to CYBL stock. I bet you people are crying right now. I bet you people are crying. Oh no, CYBL. And you know the bears are out in full force as well, knowing them. But yeah, let's see. Contract award, 3.5 million. Small potatoes, that's nothing. Where's the other one that I saw here? Look at the revenue, by the way. 63 million for something that's at double zeros. Yeah, contract award, 2.9 million. Contract award, 22.7. Like, these are small potatoes. These aren't huge. The day we get a huge contract, it's this thing's gonna move and people are going to chase. And the ones that had the conviction, just like I showed you with B-hat, those are the ones that end up making money. So I'm not concerned here. I don't really care. I might double down. I'm just gonna have to wait for it to come down nice and cheap. BBAI, why am I showing you this? This one recently got a contract and it ran. Nobody wanted it when it was down here at $3, and then, now everyone wants it. It gets pushed up. That's what a contract can do, especially if it's significant, because that's the word they use. That's a very key word, significant. But people want these contracts like today, right? They want them tomorrow. I want to get rich quick. I don't know who's selling. I don't think it's dilution. They would have no reason for that, number one. Number two, their authorized their authorized shares and share structure. Their share structure is the same. Nothing's changed, unless we get some new info coming later. So if you've done your due diligence and you know what's coming, then it's just about having conviction at this point. So it's up to you how you want to play it. I did not take the loss because this isn't eyeless. I hope it's not eyeless. That's another thing I want to talk about. This channel started on eyeless, CYBL, and AITX. Unfortunately, eyeless turned out to be absolute garbage. You know, Buffalo Fireside Chats, like to suck. I'm not even going to hold back. He likes to suck off JP and the other guy. Dick Link, yeah. This is trash. We don't want CYBL stock to behave like this. We don't want that. What we want from CYBL is we want it to actually bottom out, unlike ILIS. ILIS, I remember saying it's going to come down to 0009, 0011. And it did, and it's trash. It's absolute trash. This is worthless now. So ILIS is gone. It's over for that one. What we want from CYBL is this. AITX, despite having a super bloated share structure and the constant dilution, I think they dilute like $500 million every month just to stay afloat. Like huge net negative working capital. What we want from CYBL is this. It comes down and it just bottoms out at the same around the same level every single time. If AITX can do it, I don't see why CYBL wouldn't be able to, especially being the superior financials, number one. Superior revenues, superior balance sheet, superior everything. It's better. That's why it's still my number one. AITX has bottomed at 002s. Anytime it comes down here, we buy and then we flip it for 20 to 80%. And we've been doing that since 2023. I would be very disappointed if CYBL just doesn't hold a bottom. We don't want it to behave like ILIS. We want to see this actually bottom out somewhere so cheap that buyers just can't help but to buy more. That's really what's happening here with AITX. It always bottoms at 0026 and it always pumps and we make our money. I don't care what the bears have to say. I don't care. This is what we want to see with CYBL. So let it come down. Let's see where it bottoms out, and let's hope it doesn't behave like ILIS. We want price action wise. What we want is kind of like AITX. Just go sideways somewhere, and we can just load up, and then it pumps huge. And keep in mind, AITX has a huge share structure, like bloated. CYBL, we know it can move 005 like nothing. It doesn't take much. It does not take much for it to move 005. Here it moved from 0056 to 97. Here it moved from 61 to 119. AITX, it takes a ton of volume just to get going. Just to even move 004s. Just to move even 002. Like, it takes so much because of its bloated share structure. So I'm not bullish or bearish. I'm just kind of like, let's see where the chart wants. Let's see where we bottom out. Let it close the gap. Let's see where we bottom out. It should bottom out at 002s and 3s because that's where ILIS also it temporarily held the bottom at 002s, but then it is where it is now, and that's why I don't talk about it anymore. But you compare the three, and let's just again, I think let them sell, and when this thing gets a huge contract, everyone's going to be jumping back in. I don't see why you wouldn't believe in the company after everything they've done. The company isn't the stock isn't the company. Let it drop. Let it find a bottom. And just keep in mind, when this was in CE, it was hovering between 0012 and 007s. So the bottom should be, again, I believe it's going to be at around 002s. Because that's where AITX and ILIS tend to hold. And we know CYBL is way better than ILIS and AITX. So we would expect buyers to show up. Buyers didn't show up right now, and that's good. I think a lot of people are eyeing 003s for either to get back in or to add more to their position. And I agree with that. I might double down because unless we go into CE again, I don't see the reason to be scared. Or like this is silly, and I love it. Let it come down, because I just saw this with BHAT. It just kept going down, and people were scared, and then it ran. It's about having that conviction. The bottom play here did not work out. That's fine. There's the bottom play, and there's the catalyst play. It's no longer a bottom play. Let's play the catalyst, which they should come out with news. Let me see. I'm curious because I have not. Where's Webull? There's Webull. I can't. This doesn't go all the way back to 2021, so I want to show you something, but I'm pretty sure there's CYBL. Oh yeah, I have to log in. Fantastic. I guess I can't show you the previous data. But back then, back then it only dropped under a penny because of that C. It's a better company now than it was before, with so much more ahead. They said that themselves. But I think people are just, they're impatient. We've been in this game long enough to know people are very impatient. They're very impatient. They want to get rich quick. They want those catalysts right now. They don't want. I bet you. Let me, before I go, because this is, where is it? There. This is perfect. Let's see. CYBL. Let's read what the people have to say. CYBL sold off on rumors and panic. You're dumping shares, flooding my inbox with whining. Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm buying more the lower it goes, the more I add. I've done the research. I know what I own. Lawsuits clear soon. Big deals drop next. I don't even care about the lawsuits. I care about those Department of Defense contracts. That's a big deal. We've seen already how Palantir and BBI can move on those contracts. To be afraid now when a 00 penny stock has so much potential ahead of it, as long as it doesn't go into CE. Literally the biggest thing to be concerned about is if we go into CE. If that happens, then I'm taking the loss. But at this point, it's like, what am I going to... Why am I selling? There's no reason. Just because the other people are selling, screw that. You sell on emotion, I buy on data. I agree. That's how I am. I'm like an algorithm. I've seen the data. If I'm going to believe the company, then why would I sell? That doesn't make sense. This guy's always a bear, I think. The coward will not address shareholders. Sued by Brett Rosen, lost contract, massive debt dilution, question mark, pathetic. Okay, this guy's just, who cares? Just needs to fill the gap from a technical perspective, still believe in its future. I agree with that. Fill the gap. I don't care. Fill the gap. Which is NVIDIA. I alerted that one at 120 when it dropped, when it had that huge drop because of that scare. And look at that. You see that? That's a huge gap, and we just closed it. We closed it, and not only did we close it, but we closed it with strength. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green candles. Then finally at the trend line, we got some red candles. So we closed that gap real quick, and I believe we will close the gap on CYBL real quick, and buyers will they'll start to show up. That's just how it is, right? It gets too cheap that buyers can't help but like, oh my God, you're giving me this at 002s. And like I showed you, it can move 005 plus real easy. So if it bottoms out at 002s or even 003, it can move hundreds of percentages. The lower it goes, when it does make a move, it's going to be just more money. Because it's much cheaper now compared to 1 penny, right? So it would have to move from 1 penny to 2 to make you 100%. Now when it bottoms out at 002s or 3s, all it's going to take is, it's not going to take much of a move for it to give you 100%. Because it's so much cheaper. So there's upsides and downsides. The only thing I would look out for is if they did something that could lead to the stock just completely dying. Like Eyeless. I don't believe that, but we'll see. You know, you guys just wait and see it to believe it. I wouldn't listen to the bears online. Because they're out now. They're out. Of course they're going to come out now. Anyone else in CYBL management should be buying shares right now to support the company or addressing shareholders. It's absolutely criminal to allow this to be happening after coming off CE. Silence is the answer. Let them cook. I think people want, like I said, these people want the catalyst right now. Let's see. CYBL is getting done and pushing themselves for a major run. Have a buy order at 002, not a fraction or cent higher. I agree. That's not a bad place to try to scoop shares. Buffalo is a pumping fool. Most everything he touches is... he's a loser. Oh my God. Some people, they're so angry. End of day, MD's advisor completely failed. His advisor looked like, okay, this guy's just stupid. Going into trips. See, when I see stuff like this, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely buying when it bottoms out. Like, that makes me want to double down, the fact that people say this. That just gives me more incentive. Like, when you see stuff like that, it's a buy. Let me see. It's funny because people had so much patience and discipline People had so much patience and discipline when it took over a year to get that CE off. And now you don't have the patience and discipline to wait for it to close that gap and then buy cheap, and then when it runs again on its solid share structure that it has, not the bloated one like AITX, it's going to move and it's going to come back up for you if you bought under a penny. Obviously, if you bought above a penny, or at, God forbid you bought at around 2 cents, which I don't know why you would, you're kind of screwed, and it's just going to take, it would take a lot for it to come back for the people up at around 2 cents. But I think if you bought under a penny, my average is at 007, so this has happened to me before, literally with AITX. I bought up here at 007, and then I was like, okay, I'll add some more at 006, 005, and then I accumulated the hell out of it here, and then it pumped and here, and I got my bag out that was up here at 007. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Again, people don't have the patience, and you know what? Patience and discipline, that can be an edge in the markets, unfortunately, because people are so desperate to get rich quick. And I'll leave it at that. A lot of you made a lot of money when I told you to buy on, what was it? Was it Speed Traders? No, I don't remember which one was it. Was it Speed Trade? I don't even remember anymore. But there was a broker that was allowing people to buy CYBL down here when it was in CE, and a lot of people made a lot of money on it. And think about all the patience that was required. That patience paid off because they believed. So why would you stop believing now? Especially because, again, it's not in CE. We would have known. I can go to OTC markets and look that up. We're not in CE, guys. We'll have a good laugh later, and I'll take a shot of Rumble Mints when this stock starts moving to the upside. For now, it looks ugly. Whatever. I've been in the game long enough. I don't care. It's still pink current. The share structure is the same. Like, nothing's changed. There's no CE here. But we know they're not going to communicate because they're afraid they might get hit with another CE. They mentioned that, if you guys keep track of their videos and the PRs that they put out. So I think we're not going to get anything from them until the next Q. And I really hope someone does, Buffalo Fireside Chats, I doubt he's watching, but I would hope he does some kind of interview. I'm too lazy to do interviews, not even going to lie. So I would hope someone does an interview with them. That would be great. Anyways, that's it. You do what you want, but I believe in this. We're not in CE. Still pink current. There's no signs of dilution or anything. We'll see why it dropped. Maybe people just sold because of the technicals. That's what it seemed like to me. Like, everyone sees the gap. We're not stupid. Well, we all see it, right? And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. Everyone sees it. No one wants to buy. It drops. That's just how it is. We've seen that so many times in the markets. There's a pattern. Everyone sees it, and it's self-fulfilling. So I'm not concerned. You do what you want, though. This is not ILIS, and this is not AITX. This is better than both. And I believe that. So I'm going to stick to my guns here. And I'm going to double down if it does bottom out at 0023s. Just to bring my average down from 007s to probably 005s is what I'm aiming for. So I got a game plan. We make adjustments, and as long as this doesn't behave like ILIS in terms of it just goes down slowly back to like 00s, 000s, we'll be fine. It would be very pathetic if it can't even hold a bottom somewhere like AITX.